Yo, people, what's going on? Back again with another Red Talk. Haj, what you telling me, my bro?
I'm all good. I'm all good. Can you hear me, or
Yeah,
is it
yeah.
bugging out?
I could hear you fine, bro. I could hear you fine, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm all good, bro. What are you saying? How's life?
But it's all right, It's even better now. Harry Maguire's on the way out, blood. Like that. Even better. Like, bro, some of the narratives around the Harry Maguire thing is sensational, bro. I can't even lie. I've never seen a man stripped of the captaincy, yeah, and man's posting on social media, bro. What was he expecting, bro? What was he
You know what?
expecting?
You know what it is. He was expecting sympathy. That's number one because you have to bear in mind, as much as me and you might think that the majority of this fan base are against Maguire, bro,
Mm,
Maguire has got one loyal following. Like, there's a lot of men that
mm,
back Maguire and that think, yo, like once he leaves Man United,
mm.
like people's faces are gonna be in the mud where he's gonna prove all his critics wrong and all that shit. Bam. I'm telling you, like Maguire's got a very loyal following that's at the moment they're under the covers because shit's not really going their way.
So what they think that he's gonna leave us and prove us wrong? Is that what they think's gonna happen?
Yeah. Like I've seen it like on my TL, like I've seen it. Like the whole he'll go prove everybody wrong. Like they've already started this whole comparison between like him and Varane and this and that. So that's why
Huh?
I wasn't surprised to see the whole statement. I wouldn't have done it, but each to their own, to be fair.
Hold on, what kind of comparisons are we talking about? Statistical comparisons, or are they, or what? Because
No,
like,
no,
what's
no.
there to compare, bruv?
So the avenue they tried to go down is which one of them is a better ball player, which one's better in possession, and they feel like Maguire hasn't really been given a chance. Like, of course, Maguire's been given a chance and he's done shockingly bad from a defensive
Mm,
aspect, but they still feel like every time Maguire's played in possession, he's been better than Varane. And
mm,
they just feel like he's been hard done by. But I'll be real, like for me, club captain, he started the first two games. Man United got battered the first two games. We lost to
mm.
Brighton at home. Then we went to Brentford and we lost, I think it was like 4-0 or something like that.
Yeah,
And bro, he was a calamity in both games.
yeah.
And it's just every single time he was given an opportunity, like the one thing I'll salute Ten Hag is when he first came in, like he didn't have any favorites. It was more like,
Mm,
listen, I'll give you an opportunity. If you take it, you keep your place in the team. If you don't, I will drop you. And I always use the example of like Malacia and Shaw, where Shaw started the first two games. He was poor. Malacia came in for about 5, 6 games. Then Malacia, there was one Europa League game where he was shockingly bad. Luke Shaw came back in. The thing about Maguire, bro, is Maguire was given opportunities throughout the season, but every time he came in, he proved to the whole world why he shouldn't be starting. So I don't understand the whole sympathy, the whole people feeling bad for him. But I'm on the same boat as you. Like I'm more than happy to see him gone.
absolutely. And you know what it is with the Maguire Varane comparisons when they talk about ball playing and stuff like that. Listen, we all know that Varane is not the best player in possession in terms of ball playing, but what Varane gives you is his decision making and his anticipation. Two things that Harry Maguire doesn't have. So, like, the difference between Maguire and Varane is that if they both get caught in the same situation, even though Harry Maguire might be able to ping a 40-yard ball better than him, Varane will make the better decision in the moment under pressure. So, even though aesthetically he's probably not as good on the ball, bro, like he's got the other intangibles that Maguire doesn't have. So the comparisons are void. You've just got to look at the amount of opportunities leading to goals that Maguire's involved in compared to Varane. Like it's night and day. Forget what it looks like on the ball. When they're both on the pitch, how many times have you seen Harry Maguire directly involved in the other team, either creating a chance or
Mm,
scoring a goal? Directly. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not even really a conversation people should be having.
No, no, no. It's spot on. I think you know what it is. It's like at the moment there's a massive discourse going around Varane. Like people think he's going to be next year's scapegoat. People feel like he's the next one to be moved on and this and that. And I already see it. Like I feel like next year, if there's going to be any problem in the first phase in terms of playing out from the back, Varane is going to be the scapegoat. Like, yep, it's because of this, because of that. I get Varane does have limitations in possession.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very evident. But the way I look at it, especially when they compare him to Maguire, is I'm like, at the end of the day, cool. Every single player has limitations. Like every player has flaws. Every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The way I look at it is, look at a player and look at their strengths. Do they outweigh their weaknesses? With Maguire, his weaknesses outweigh his strengths. With Varane, it's the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
His strengths outweigh his weaknesses. That's
Yep.
why personally I'd stick with Varane. But I do feel that there will come a time where we will sit down and be like, yo, it's time to move on from Varane. But it's not this summer.
Oh hell no! Like we're not good enough as a unit to even think about moving on from Varane. And you know what it is with Varane, yeah? It's like if you look at the type of defender he is, yeah, he's very good at recovery, last ditch stuff. The amount of times you see him clearing the ball off the line, heading it over the bar, like he anticipates danger very well, and he's very mobile in doing so. He's not great on the ball, but as long as he's got a ball player next to him, he doesn't need to be that guy. We don't need two centre backs that are amazing on the ball, read the ball. Listen, that is my dream. Having a left footer and a right footed centre back that are both really good on the ball. Like I think any manager that likes to play ball would love two centre backs, one left footer, one right footer, both great on the ball, both are good at reading danger, both got physicality, pace, and all that. But bro, like football's not really set up like that. You can't build players, innit? Can't build players from scratch. But what he doesn't have doesn't matter in this team if he's got Lissandro next to him. Like it doesn't matter.
No. It doesn't matter because, firstly, I feel like Varane complements Martinez and Martinez complements him where what Martinez lacks, Varane brings to the table, and what Varane lacks, Martinez brings. But personally, that is just my opinion. I've always said, as much as everybody would love to have like two centre halves that can ping a ball and break lines and this and that, the reason why I like Varane is the fact that Varane isn't a very aggressive passer of a ball where Martinez, as soon as the opportunity presents itself to break a line, he will do it. Like he's got that confidence, he's got the ability to do it. When you've got two centre halves that are both very aggressive, you have to bear in mind, not every pass is going to reach the destination that you've got in mind. Like sometimes it will get intercepted, sometimes it will get blocked. When you've got one person that just keeps it tidy and ticking at the back, and then you've got one that's the more aggressive one, it works perfectly. And like you look at Manchester City, for example, John Stones is the more aggressive passer, the one that likes to break lines, or Laporte. Laporte is very fancy in possession. Ruben Diaz is the complete opposite. He's very passive. He just keeps it steady. He does his defensive duties and he gives it to the ball players. And I feel like that's why Varane and Leach just work very well.
100%, and that's what it's about. Like that's why it's called a centre back partnership. That's why you always talk about the two centre backs as a team. You never see people talking about defenses and they're just talking about one centre back because they work in tandem, bro. One goes, one stays. Do you know what I mean? And if you've got two aggressive defenders, it leaves you very vulnerable. Do you know what I mean? And Varane sweeps very well. So, like, trying to use Varane or use Harry Maguire as a stick to beat Varane with is crazy to me, bruv. Because it's like one is literally a World Cup winning multi-time Champions League winning experienced centre back. And one is a guy that's been relegated 4 times, bruv, and ain't done nothing in football. Like, so the conversation, bro, it's blasphemous, bro. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Now, you know what it is? It's like, it's the whole English bias. Like, that's one where, like, with Maguire, I never wanted him. Like, I remember a few summers ago when we were linked with him and we spent the whole summer chasing him and this and that. I was like, yo, I'll be real. I didn't expect him to be as bad as he's been. I was like, value for money, what I've seen, especially in the World Cups and Leicester, I'm not a fan of the guy. But the thing with Maguire is, bro, is like people are actually upset in their feelings. And I'm like, you can't, like, are you trying to fool everybody? Like, we've all sat down and watched games season after season. We've watched FA Cups, Carabao's, Premier League, Champions Leagues. So many times he's been a liability. And it's like, you look at periods this season when Varane was injured, we looked shaky. As soon as Varane came back into the team towards the end of the season, we looked steady again. And that should be enough. That should be enough for you to see who's important and who isn't important.
100%. And this is what it is. It's like a lot of these players, you don't realize their importance until they're not there, innit? And Varane is definitely one of them. He's definitely one of them, man. And his reading of the game and just the little things that you don't recognize, they get overlooked massively until he's not there. massively. Even in the air, he's good in the air, bro. Like you would never think when you think of our winning headers and that, you don't think of Varane, but the amount of last ditch headers this guy wins, do you know what I mean? It's crazy, bro. He's just a solid defender all around, and he's got good acceleration, bro. So like to me, my main concern with Varane was not his lack of ball playing ability, it was his lack of availability. And to be fair, his injuries haven't been as bad as I expected them to be. Like when he came in, the first thing I was thinking is this brother's always injured, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And to be fair, he's been available for, but I'd say 2/3 of the games. And now he's retired from international football as well. I'm hoping that means that he can stay fit for a bit longer, bro. And do you know what I mean? It's just about making sure that we have the right depth just in case he gets injured. But in terms of his ability, like, bro, I'm not really worried about that, to be fair.
Yeah, no. The injuries are a concern at times, but I feel like as long as we manage his minutes, it shouldn't be a problem. But like I said, like I wouldn't be surprised if in a year or two, you have to bear in mind, like Varane is like what I think like 30, 31. So in a year or two,
He's got a couple years at the top level before you start looking to replace him. But now he's retired from international football. That is going to benefit us massively, and it should benefit him as well.
Yeah, no. It'll benefit him. It'll benefit us. And I just feel like, in summary, like people should just look at it as like Martinez is the type of centre half, or like Martinez is the type of centre half, or when he goes out on the pitch, like his number one priority sometimes it feels like it's just to dictate from deep. Varane is just a defender where his priority is to defend. And I understand, like nowadays, a lot of people find it weird for a centre half to only be good at defending because you want the whole package. You want a good defender. You want somebody that's good at breaking lines. You want somebody that's this and that. Varane is just very good at defending. Martinez is very good at playing out from the back. And the fact that now we've got Onana, it helps because before, when you had Licha and you had Varane, who had some limitations, you had De Gea, who was completely poor. That's now two weak links in your, like, the little mini triangle that you have between the goalkeeper and the two centre halves. If you look at our triangle now next season, let's say it's Licha, Varane, and Onana, 2 out of the 3 are ball players. So it's not going to be a problem in comparison to last year when it was 1 out of the 3.
100%. And when you've got a goalkeeper like that, bro, he can bypass Varane altogether, bro, because he's good enough to do that. He's good enough to do that. He's good enough to play through the lines and completely bypass Varane. And that's what his passing ability gives you. Because a lot of the time with De Gea, it was like De Gea can only hit the nearest man to him, the most obvious man. But most of the time, the most obvious man has pressure on him. And that's the thing. So David De Gea is either putting it out for a throw-in or he's trying to play off a pass that's maybe out of his passing range, and then it puts us on the back foot. So when you've got a goalkeeper like that who can step out, if Varane's under pressure, he can just bypass him, bro. You're not going to give him pressure. He's not going to give him the ball while he's under pressure because he's confident enough to step out himself. So, like, that is a massive signing for us.
Nah, but it's crazy. Like, it's like I feel like so many people think it's just going to benefit us from a ball playing aspect. Like, bro, just in terms of being able to sweep, command his box. Like, one thing that I wasn't too familiar with Onana, but I saw it in the Champions League final was his mentality. Like, he's not captain. He's not the captain of Inter. And after they bottled it and lost the final, like, he was the only player that was going around lifting his players up, talking to them, going into their ears. And I was thinking, like, like, that's something usually a club captain does. And this guy was just going around, like, rallying the troops, telling them, listen, like, we go again. And I was like, that is very important for a team like Man United because we do need, as much as we need winners, we do need players with, like, an elite mentality that can handle the pressure of playing for this team, because we've seen a lot of players that have the quality to play for this team, but they don't have the mentality for it. With Onana, he's already shown his mentality is there. But to touch on what you said about the whole ball playing aspect, like I feel like at times, especially when we get pressed, having a goalkeeper that can play out from the back means you can outnumber the opposition, because if every single one of your centre halves and fullbacks are pressed, when we never used to have De Gea, it would practically be like 4v4. Every man for himself. When you've got Onana, it's like a 5v4, if you know what I mean. So having an extra body helps.
But that's what it should be. Like, your goalkeeper is the first line of attack and the last line of defense. So of course it's like having an extra player. So when people are coming and pressing the goalkeeper, if you've got a goalkeeper like that, you don't bother. You don't bother pressing him. If you got a goalkeeper that can play, there's no point pressing him. There's no point. Because if you play with two strikers, you're playing a 5v2. Anyone that's played 5v2s in training or even rondos and that, like, the two in the middle are supposed to get absolutely ripped to bits, bro. If they don't, it's because you've got weak links out there, bro. But if you've got 5 players in the final third against 2 players, them 2 players ain't meant to get nowhere near the ball. And a lot of the time now, yeah, even if they want to press with 3, they've still got 2 spare men. So it's one of them things where that goalkeeper, because he's not hesitating and he's not slowing down the play, bro. Like, he's so important, bro. And you see it with Liverpool, you see it with Man City as well, bro. Like, Alisson's getting assists, bro. Man, just pinging the ball straight forward. Like, and the thing is, it's like with a goalkeeper like that, if you press them, then if they beat the press, then they're getting the ball into midfield quicker. And if you don't press them, my man can pick someone out in the other half of the pitch and start an attack that way. So I think it also allows you to be a bit more direct as well, because it's not just the short passing of the goalkeepers, it's the long passing.
Yeah, no, that's spot on. Like, I remember I think it was Edison to Gundo against Tottenham a few years ago. And it was literally, I think it was a corner. And then Gundo was like on the halfway line, just 1-on-1. Pinged it to him first time. And it's like, as much as I always say this, like, as much as people like to see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 passes before a goal, sometimes being direct is the answer. And with Manchester United, so many times, like, I've seen De Gea claim the ball and I'm like, yo, Rashford's free, Bruno's free, like in the second phase, and then he can ping it. The pass doesn't get to them. And the thing about David De Gea is sometimes, funny enough, the pass does get there, but it's like maybe the weight of it, the timing.
Yeah, it gets there like at a mad height that you can't really do anything with it. Do you know what I mean?
And it's like all of those 3 factors, like weight, timing, and accuracy, if any one of them is wrong and it delays you by 1 second, then the whole move flops. And the thing is like, I remember even watching Onana Inter Milan, like, so many times he broke City's press alone. Like, he literally would take out 5 man out of the game and get the ball to, like, Çalhanoğlu. And that's it. Çalhanoğlu's now there, like 3v4. We're Man United, but by the time we get to the stage of 3v4, the whole team is back.
Yeah.
And I feel like Onana being able to play short and long, I think it will help our attacking players a lot.
Yeah, it adds variety, especially when you got people like Rashford, bro, on the shoulder. Like, yo, if the goalkeeper is catching the other team, in transition, bro, and he just pings it straight into that left channel, bro. Like, someone was saying Alisson to Salah last season, bro. Like, bro, we can catch Rashford with those, because remember when we had Pogba was catching Rashford with them little balls over the top all the time, bro. And it's like, we got a goalkeeper that can play those. Like, yo, it's dangerous. And also, when we're playing that high line as well, we can hem teams in, bro, because the goalkeeper is up, like that. So if they try and break out and the ball goes over our centre-back's head, usually what happens, if the goalkeeper's too deep, centre-back's coming back, and then the other team's encroaching, bro, coming in behind the centre-back, bro. You know what I'm saying? When the ball goes over the centre-back, if the goalkeeper's here and my man can move the ball straight away, bro, these men can't even get out. And that's how you keep teams hemmed in, bro. Do you know what I mean? When you've got a ball playing goalkeeper and Edison, that's why Man City is like, it feels like you're just being suffocated, bro. Because their man just do not let you get up the pitch at all.
Yeah, no, that's spot on. Like, that's exactly how you suffocate a team, like, especially when you've got a keeper that can sweep. Because when you play a high line, don't get me wrong, it's risky. Like, if you get it wrong, a player is practically in 1-on-1. So you have to take the good with the bad. But when you've got a keeper that can read situations well and that can sweep and that can comfortably come forward and intercept the ball, it helps the team a lot. And, like, it's no surprise. You look at the 2 best of teams, or shall we say, even, like, you can drag in Arsenal based on their performances from last year. Arsenal, City, and Liverpool. The one thing they all have in common is a keeper that can sweep, and it allows them to push bodies forward. Because, like, bro, sometimes it reaches a stage where you're watching these teams and you're thinking, why are your centre halves on the halfway line, and then your midfielders are around the 30-yard box, and your attackers are in the opposition box? Like, you've practically got 10 man in the opposition half. Like, bro, that's impossible. Like, that becomes very congested. It becomes very compact. And if you know how to press and you've got 10 man in one half, then, bro, it's impossible for these men to get out. And the only way for them to get out is to go long. And if your keeper can sweep, then you win the ball back straight away.
That's it. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't even allow them to reset. And that man said his average position was outside of his own box. And it should be, because City probably averaged over 60% possession. So when City have the ball, Edison's not on his goal line. I'm saying man's on the edge of his box, at probably the furthest back he is the edge of his box. So this is exactly what it is. Like, just that one change changes the whole mentality of the team, the whole mentality. And even from a confidence point of view, when you're a centre back and you know that your keeper can't play, you don't know what to do. You don't know
Mm.
what to do, because a part of you wants to take the ball off their feet. But then it's like, if you got someone on you, if you want to make an angle for the goalkeeper, you don't really trust him not to lose it, bro. Do you know what I mean? So if you watch, Leacher does it a lot. Like, there's a lot of times where if the ball goes over the top and Leacher gets the ball, he won't pass to De Gea. He won't. Like, if you watch it, like, Maguire will pass it back. Leacher won't. He'll rather drop the shoulder and try and beat the oncoming
Mm.
player and play out than pass it back to the goalkeeper. And that's because he don't trust him.
Yeah, no. And it's like you're spot on in terms of so many times, and it's not just last season, like even seasons before, you'd see players are hesitant to give De Gea the ball. Like so many times where I'm like there's always one example that just rings a bell where it's like Luke Shaw. I can't remember who it was against, where he was getting pressed. And I was like, bro, just go to De Gea, just go to De Gea. And you could see he was looking for any option, but not to give it to David De Gea. And bro, the thing is, the longer you take, the more ground the opposition can close down, which
For
just makes
sure.
the pass 10 times harder. And then, bro, by the time he gave it to De Gea was under pressure and he just kicked it out for a throw in. And I was like, cool. Like, everybody will blame Luke Shaw for it. But I blamed like two people. I was like, hey, like, it's the fact that the keeper's not the most comfortable in possession. So you don't want to give it back to him. But I feel like people weren't really showing for the ball. But the thing that I feel like will benefit the team as a whole is there's one thing about David De Gea, which a lot of people don't speak about, which is even when David De Gea gets a pass correct, like 5, 10 yard, 15 yarder, he always gets it in the wrong areas. Like, so many times I've seen him pass the ball to Varane on his weaker foot, give the ball to Leacher in an area where you're putting Leacher in a lot of trouble. But because Leacher is so smooth, he bails himself out. Like, just passing the ball to your teammate on his favored foot in an area where he can drive with it, in an area where he can break a line, it just speeds up the process. And that's why when you watch Manchester City, for some reason, they can get from their own half to the opposition half in 3-4 passes within a matter of seconds. But with Man United, it takes 30 seconds. And it's like these little small details, like getting the ball in the right area to the favored foot, they play a massive part.
No, 100%. And like you said, like De Gea will get the ball to the left winger, but the left winger's jumping to head it to keep it in. You know them ones. Like, he's not playing it into man so he can take it down and go with it. My man's trying to rescue a stray pass, like. And yeah, man, his distribution is woeful, innit? And the thing is, you don't have to be the best with your feet if you're bringing other things to the table, bro. Because no one talks about Courtois' distribution. Yeah, cool. Like, his kicking's not crap. Do you know what I'm saying? But like, he's nowhere near the most aesthetic goalkeeper when it comes to playing out. But he does all the basics. So we don't talk about that. But De Gea's got so many holes in his game. Like, the things that used to make him one of the top goalkeepers in the game, yeah, is no longer enough to carry him. So it's like, when you look at our spine now, no De Gea and no Maguire, bro. Like, you take them two out the spine and you replace them with Onana and say Lissandro Martinez, yeah, like, that upgrade is crazy in terms of ability.
No. It's a massive upgrade. And I think with Madrid, like, what aids them is Courtois is decent in possession, but I think what aids them is the overall, like, technical security of that team. Like, their centre halves are good. Bro, their midfielders, like, you can really make a case it's the best midfield in the world. Like, they're very good at bopping the ball around, even if it means they've got one weak link. I don't really think that Courtois is a weak link, but let's just say, like, he's not as smooth as other keepers. With De Gea, I feel like what aided him a lot was the fact that, and like, I'll give him his dues, like, as in there were periods where Man United were horrendous and it was like a one-man defense at the back. It was literally just De Gea, like, especially during Jose and this and that. That's where he was sweet. But bro, like, now it's reached the stage where, like, football's evolved. Like, that's why I always say, like, when people try to cry about David De Gea, I'm
And it's constantly evolving.
Spot on. That's exactly what it is. Like, when I was a kid, ball was played in a completely different way to how it is now. And it means sometimes a club favorite will have to be moved on. Your favorite player might have to be moved on. Football's forever changing. Different managers, different philosophies, different formations, different play styles. With David De Gea, when he was relevant and he was the best keeper in the world, shall we say, it was only important to shot stop. That's it. Like you look at David De Gea's whole highlight reel, save after save after save after save. As the years went on, people are now favoring other things because it's like they found a way to minimize the opposition from having shots at their goal. And you do that by just not giving them possession. So you need 11 competent players in possession. That's where David De Gea's weaknesses got exposed. And bro, like last year, like I'll be real, like there was a contract offered to him in January. And I feel like Ten Hag was happy enough with his performances, but I feel like he shot his own self in the foot. The way he performed towards the end, bro, like especially FA Cup and Europa League, where he was single-handedly to blame. I feel like that was enough where we're like, all right, cool. Yeah, you might have gotten the most clean sheets, but let's be real. Like clean sheets is a testament to the entire defense rather than one individual. And I feel like that was enough.
And the United players have said it though. They've said that the manager wants to attack as a team and defend as a team. Therefore, you can't be giving the goalkeeper all the accolades for the Golden Glove because the same goalkeeper that got the Golden Glove also had the most mistakes leading to goals in the league. Do you know what I mean? So that would tell you everything. Like if he was keeping up his end of the bargain, he wouldn't have been top of that list. He should have been nowhere near the top of that list. So that tells you everything you need to know about how we actually improved as a team structurally, because there's probably no way with the way De Gea was playing there that he should have won that.
Yeah, no. Like as in, I'll be real, there were periods, especially after the World Cup, like there were some games where I was like, yo, like defensively we'd be in the shambles, but De Gea has bailed us out. And I remember like Craven Cottage Fulham, where he was just man in the match for me. But bro, I feel like with David De Gea, it reached a point where he was making way more errors than he was making saves. Like when your goalkeeper is a liability, that's when you have to move them on. Yeah. And David De Gea towards the end of the season was like, bro, he was a massive liability. Like, there was even a period where I was like, listen, I don't care. FA Cup final, put a kid in goal. Like, I know this guy he's going to be targeted, bro. And the thing is, if you target him, you get what you want out of him because he just doesn't have the skill set to cope. And no. Like, he shot his own self in the foot. And I feel like he needs to go to a team now where either the manager or the league, like some leagues don't really prioritize ball playing keepers. Like, it's just football. Like old school football. Yeah, that's where he needs to go. But no top team will look at him and be like, sweet, we can compensate for your lack of ball playing, for your lack of sweeping, for your lack of authority or commanding in your own box. Bro, those are big red flags.
No, facts only. Big up Smokey for the super chat, man. Said, I like the keepers we're going for. Suzuki looks mad tidy as well. What's the next move you'd make with player sales included, etc.? Bro, to be fair, we've been linked with, there's been murmurs of us being open to letting McTominay go if the right opportunity comes. Someone said that one of the Turkish clubs put in a bid for Fred or something like that. I don't know if that's from a reliable source though, but it seems as though like the manager is looking to get players out. So bro, everything that we've been asking for in recent times is kind of happening, innit? It's just happening not as quickly as we would want. But ultimately, a lot of the players where people have questioned their ability to be Manchester United players are being linked to moves away. So I believe that the manager will get rid of the players that he can. And then in terms of the players coming in, we've been linked with Amrabat, happy with that. I'm happy enough with Højlund because I think that the general level of strikers is in the bin, and also just availability. Like there's no one out there that I would say, you know what, he's available, go get him, apart from Harry Kane. But it looks like Levy's made it abundantly clear that he ain't going to no one in England this season, bro. Like no one, unless we were to go in there with something like 150 million bid, which we're not gonna do.
Yeah, I think Kane will stay one more year. And I think I don't think even Harry Kane has a problem with staying for one more year. Like it's just another year to chase the goal record, and then you're a free agent. And the thing is, like at the moment, the only clubs that will be in for Harry Kane are the clubs that can afford 100 to 120 million. Next year, every club can afford Harry Kane because he's a free agent. So,
but can you afford to give Harry Kane 400k? We can. Chelsea can. You know what I
I
mean?
don't know if
And
that's how much you'd want, to be fair. Like, there
no,
will be
but
a
bro,
signing on bonus.
no, but think about it. If you're not paying a fee for Harry Kane, you're giving him 400 bands. You are. Like, do you know what I mean? Because if he goes somewhere like Bayern Munich, for instance, or Real Madrid, if you go to Real Madrid on a free, you're getting 600k, you know, like no bullshit. Like, look at his age. Like, Aaron Ramsey
Mm.
was on 400 bands at Juventus. Like, on a free, Harry Kane's 400 million. He is. Like, he
Mm.
is. For sure, he is. Do you know what I mean? Like, so when you say he doesn't seem like the type to demand, that's what your agent's there for. Harry Kane will play for 250. But his agent wants 400, 100%. Bruv, listen, if Mason Mount wanted 250, yeah, like, and tried to do the cheeky 300 and got 250, Rashford's about to sign a 300k contract. You think that Harry's not getting 400?
But I'll be real. I think any club that will go in for Harry Kane next year, they'll just
Yeah,
look at it and be like, sweet, who else can we get of his quality for free? All right, cool. If it's not for free, who else can we get of his quality for a certain fee? There's nobody. Like, for me, he's the best striker in the world at the moment.
exactly. So you pay him 400k comfortably.
Clubs will be willing to do that. Like, maybe Bayern is the only one. I think Bayern might be the only one that'll be a bit iffy. Yeah. But bro, like, if
Mm.
Madrid can't get Mbappe next summer, they'll happily pay 400 for Kane. United would. I
Yeah.
reckon. I reckon Chelsea would.
I think
Like,
we
Man
would. I
City
think
would.
Chelsea would. I think City have Haaland, so they wouldn't need to. But I think us and Chelsea would 100% pay the 400 bands. 100%. About
So
400,000, bro. Would pay that.
yeah, no. So it makes sense. I feel like it makes sense a lot for him to stay because next year he'll have way more suitors in comparison to this year. But now, from what I've read, it's we only go in for Amrabat if we can shift
McTominay.
Fred, Donny, and McTominay because we need the cash. Like, we need to generate some cash. I reckon Fred goes. Like, Fred, you could see he's got buyers. Like, Galatasaray want him, but they've offered 6 M's.
Fulham on him.
Fulham want him. I reckon Fred eventually goes.
Mm.
McTominay, we want 25, 30. Now, for me, I don't know who will pay that much for McTominay. Yeah, but I reckon he's another player that will have some suitors. Donny is the only one where I'm like, I don't know. Like, maybe a club will take him on loan because
Or he goes back to Holland.
yeah, can go back to Ajax. But yeah, we've got Amrabat there if we get who we want. But for me, I'll be real, like the Amrabat thing, I'm sweet with it. But he's not my number one target. But I'll take him for 30 million because
Yeah, well, in that price range, we're not going to get better than that.
That's exactly what it is. Like, in today's market, 30 million gets you a bum. Like, to get Amrabat for 30 is very nice. But he's not my number one target. But I'm on board with that. But the striker for me is the big worry. I'll be real because, bro, I like Højlund, but I'm not a fan of paying over 50 M's for players where we bank on their potential. I don't like that shit. Like, if I'm paying over 50, I want guaranteed. I need something guaranteed in return. To pay over 50 for a player where you're relying on their potential and then they might not live up to it. And next thing you know, you've got an £80 million player that didn't live up to the hype. And now it's difficult to get rid of them. I can't get on board with that. So I hope United have like a second option after Højlund if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, but there's just no one out there, bro. Like, for no amounts of money, like, take the money aside, there's no one out there, bro. You know, like that, because it's like Osimhen's not for sale. Do you know what I mean? I see his agent come out saying he only wants Man United or Real Madrid, like, if he does move. And it's like, all right, cool. But then both teams are going to be expected to pay upward of 100 million for him. He's not worth it, in my opinion. He's not worth it, in my opinion. Not worth 100 mil. Do you know what I mean? So then, outside of him, you look at what's out there, out and out strikers. There's not really any, bro. Like, we've been linked to Colomwani, like, bro. There's no real strikers out there where man are saying we've been linked with what's his name, the Portuguese you,
Gonçalo
yeah,
Ramos.
that's what I'm saying, and him as well, and even him, like, cool. But how much are
rate
they gonna want for him? I don't rate him like that.
him.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like there's nothing out there, bro. Like, bro, the striker market is bleeding, bro. Like, it's bad. It's actually bad. When you look at it, you're better off. If you're gonna get Ramos, you might as well go to fucking Fulham, yeah, and go get my man, bro. Go get Mitro, blood. That's how bad it is. It's peak.
I'm not gonna lie, I've got two in mind. I'd like it if Man United took a gamble on Evan Ferguson, but I don't know how much he'll cost. I'll be real, like, especially because he signed.
Well, you don't think it's too early?
You know what it is? I think he's of a similar age to Hoyland,
Mm,
but I'll be real. I'm more familiar with Ferguson's game than I am with Hoyland's. Like I've seen
mm,
Ferguson do dirt in this league at the age of 18, 19. Like I've seen it. With Hoyland, I've just seen a comp.
mm.
And I'll be real. Like in my opinion, the Prem is way more challenging than Serie A is. Ferguson, I like. If not, I know he's a player that a lot of people don't like at the moment because he had a shocking season. But bro, I'll be real. Like I'll take that gamble on Vlahovic because what I saw at Fiorentina, like that's where I stumbled across him. I was just watching Fiorentina randomly a few years ago, and I was like, "Yo, this guy knows how to score goals." And bro, the numbers he was putting up in his first, his last two seasons at Fiorentina and his first season at Juventus, they're a joke. Like his numbers were ridiculous. And the thing I loved about Vlahovic the most was the diversity that he had in front of goal. Like some strikers just know how to put it low and hard. Some
Mm.
strikers low and hard, they know how to place it. They know how to dink a keeper. They know how to go around the keeper. They know how to score a header. That's what I loved about Vlahovic. Yeah, but I'll be real. Last year, he was very poor. So I understand why a lot of people aren't really on his boat.
He was poor, but you know what? It's like the team as a whole weren't great in it. So
Mm,
you could write it off and say, you know what, it was a bad season for everyone. You could look at it like that, or maybe you could just look at it saying, you know what, the team don't play to his strengths. Like you could just write it off and say it hasn't worked for him, innit? So it's a difficult one because when I look at him, like he's got all the tools to be successful, but then I'm like, but why wasn't he successful at Juventus then with the tools that we knew he had and we know he has, innit? And he's been heavily linked to PSG now, so yeah, it's a bit of a mad one because if he does end up at PSG, I think that's a good signing for them.
I reckon they get him because I think Juve need cash and they're the only team that are in for him that are willing to pay. But I'll be real about that. With last year, I think what didn't help him was the fact that Allegri's play style isn't the most expansive. Like it's very passive. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
very like pragmatic. And a pragmatic play style suits the defenders more than it does the attackers. Like when you've got Vlahovic is not good enough to do a one-man attack. That's the one criticism I have of him. Like some players, you can just leave them in the opposition half isolated, get the ball to them, and they'll run the show. Those
Yeah.
are the best of attackers. Vlahovic needs bodies around him. That's how Juve used him. And bro, when you've got like who would you say is their second best attacker? Probably Chiesa. When you've got Chiesa playing as a wing back,
And he was
you've got
injured as well.
this is a guy coming back from injury, but when he was
Mm.
back, wing back, Di Maria playing wing back, like Pogba was out the whole season. It
Mm.
didn't really help. But even last year, bro, like he still scored double-digit goals. But the thing that stood out for me the most was the goals that he scored. Like, bro, top finishes. Like, if you can just get him into those areas on a more consistent basis, the finish is there. It's just at Juve,
Mm.
they don't get him in that position on a consistent basis. But I'll take a gamble on him because I'm hearing 40, 50 million.
Boy, if it's that price, it's yeah. I reckon it's 50 million better spent than going and doing a mad thing. And that man said, yeah, the only reliable one is Kane. Everyone else is a gamble. Do you know what I'm saying? Everyone else is a gamble, and even my man as well. He went to West Ham. But bro, when you go playing for David Moyes, like bro, David Moyes had one matter playing right wing in a 4-4-2, blood. Like this guy been ending careers, isn't it? Like this youth was a gunman in Italy, and then he's come to England, yeah, and look dead, bro. And it's not him, bro. Like it's not because he's shit. He can still ball. He can play. Do you know what I mean?
Nice player.
So yeah,
Proper
he can
player.
play. So sometimes man they just need the right circumstances, innit? Especially strikers. The thing is with strikers, yeah, like there's different types of strikers in the game, yeah, but one thing they all have in common is they like what they like in it. Certain strikers like it to feet, certain strikers like it into space. And if you got a striker and you know what they like, it doesn't make sense not to play into what they like, bro, because then what's the point in signing them?
No, that I feel like that signing it fooled a lot of people. Like I'll be real, it fooled me because I was like, sweet, you got Skamaka, you've got Paqueta, you've got Rice, like you've got players where you can move away from this whole counter-attacking ball that West Ham play, bro. And I remember Skamaka's debut. Like I can't remember if he started or if he came off the bench. I think he came off the bench. It was against Manchester City, and bro, he ran them ragged in that that second half alone, and I was like, yo, that this guy is good technically playing with his back to goal, very good. Yeah, but bro, it's no surprise. Come the end of the season, they've gone back to old ways. Yeah, long to Antonio, Ben Rama, Bowen, this and that. So it didn't work out. But I'll take a punt on him. But I don't think they'll give him to Man United personally.
Yeah, he definitely is struggling under Moyes, and bro, he wouldn't be the first player. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. Like the list is not very long in terms of what strikers are available, who can do what, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But it seems like the manager's kind of set on Hoyland because I haven't heard us linked with anyone as regularly as him. So I feel like talks have already opened. So I don't know. We just have to see. Bro, what's this reported target? I don't know this guy. Do you know this boy?
They ain't good.
Yeah, say no more. Nah, that's all I needed to hear, bro. Hopefully that don't go through then. You know, like that. Hey, you lot, make sure you smash up the like buttons. You know what I mean? Get that likes up, bro. We need at least 700. You man are sleeping, bro. Obviously, there's been talk about who the next Man United captain is gonna be. They're saying that I think teams in Saudi have shown interest in Bruno. He said he's staying, and that. I think it's safe to say that he's probably getting the armband.
Yeah, no, in my opinion, fully deserved. I'll be real. In my opinion, fully deserved. What do you make?
I think that personally, if I'm the gaffer, I'm giving the armband to Varane, or I'm giving it to Casemiro, innit? And it's one of them ones where it's like, not because it'll make them play better, because here's the thing, there are different types of captains. Like Casemiro and Varane are two senior players, yeah, that no matter what, it's not going to change their playing style, whether they have the armband or not. Do you know what I mean? I don't think the armband makes Bruno play better. I think Bruno's always going to do what Bruno does, innit? So I either give the armband to the players that genuinely have the most seniority and have the most respect, or if it's a little one-off thing, I might give it to a player that I know that, yo, this armband might get an extra 10% out of them. Do you know what I mean? To like a Luke Shaw or something like that for one game. Like say, oh yeah, hold this. Do you know what I'm saying? If someone's not playing. And my psychology behind that is like, there's a natural hierarchy amongst men. Like we all have it. We understand it. It's non-verbal. Do you know what I mean? When Cass walks in, everyone knows Cass is Cass, bro. Like there's no player in that dressing room that just from a default response that anyone questions him when he walks in. When he walks into that room, everyone understands that he's the guy in it. Now, I mean, everyone respects Lissandro for his footballing ability, his tenacity, and everything like that. But in terms of what he's achieved in the game and also just the respect he has from his peers, I think Casemiro is the guy in it. He's the closest thing, attitude-wise, aura-wise, that we've had to Roy Keane in this team. So, by that aspect, he's the natural captain. However, because Bruno's already had the captaincy and he had it last season, and he hasn't shown that he doesn't deserve it in terms of he hasn't put a foot wrong and done anything where you think we should take it from him because he's done this, I think it just makes sense to keep it, for him to keep it. And that's just what it is.
Well, I think what it was with me is like when I saw the reports, I knew Bruno would keep it because Bruno was captain last year, and I agree. Like as in, he didn't really put a foot wrong. Like I've already said, like for me, last year was his best season, and it was his worst season in terms of GA. But for me, like he was quality last year. I think with Casemiro, the only thing that sways me away from giving Casemiro the captain's armband is, bro, those suspensions last year. And the thing is, they're not going to end. Like he's going to have suspensions this year. It's like I look at it and I'm like, you want your captain to be the most composed under pressure, like somebody that can just control himself and control everybody around him. Now, don't get me wrong. Bruno can come across very erratic. Like Bruno's constantly moaning, constantly
all the time,
whinging, constantly in the referee's face. I get it. Every footballer does that. I'll be real. Like every captain does that.
Yeah, not like him though. Players. Not like him.
Not like him. But the thing is, Bruno never ever seems to get like sent off because of it. With Casemiro, I just feel like, bro, like last year, like especially at periods where I was like, sweet, we've gone into this game and Casemiro knows. Like, let's say you're the gaffer. You've told Casemiro right before this game, yo, we're going to Selhurst Park. We've got Crystal Palace, tough away ground, Wednesday evening. Stay calm, stay composed. Don't get booked. Because if you do, you're going to let the team down. And then what? 75th minute, just a stupid challenge, gets himself booked, suspended for the next game. Those types of things, I don't really like them.
But to be fair with Casemiro, what I do like about him doing that is that he always puts the team before himself. Like most of the time when he makes these tackles, it's because someone else has fucked up, and he just has to, bro. Like he can't take the chance of us conceding because he just wants to win, innit? Like he just does some last ditch lunges and that, and you just know it's like, yo, it's us or them, so it's gonna be them, innit? And bro, come on, Keno was the same. It's just like they had the respect, but they knew ultimately Roy Keane was out there dealing with personal vendettas, blood on the pitch, bro. Like, you know, what I mean? He didn't give a shit. You know? So, like, bro, like with Casemiro, the red cards aren't really an issue for me because when we look at all the red cards, the one where he had his hand around man's throat or whatever, or so it looked like, that, bro.
I think
extremely harsh red card. The other one, I think was it Newcastle and that we got the ball and the follow through, he caught man studs up or something like that. And even the brother, or it might have been Brighton or something. It was Brighton, I think. And the brother got up and even he couldn't believe it was a red card as well. He was like, this is harsh. Like when you look at all of his reds, like there's only one of them where it's like, you know what, he knew it was a red straight away. He just clamped man's through on goal and he walked off. But other than that, they've been questionable. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's like a malicious or red card getter. Like, do you know what I mean? I think he's been very unlucky. So, do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that, based on the fact that you've got sent off here, I'm not giving you the armband because, bro, Roy Keane was on smoke every game. Do you know what I mean? And that kind of gets the players up for it. I think that's a part of the reason why the players respect him as well, because it's like every game's a war for him, blood. Like it's like he's willing to die out there for no reason, bruv. Even when it's not that type of game, like he makes it that type of game. Do you know what I mean? So I just think that with the Bruno situation, he's had the armband already. He hasn't done anything to make man say, you know what? Yeah, this ain't how captains behave or whatever. Whether you like how he plays or not, like I don't really like the moaning. I don't like the diving around and the stuff like that. I think it's jarring, innit? However, you can probably tell that even though it doesn't make him a better player, the armband, it probably gives him a little more confidence. You know what I mean? A little bit more of like a spring in his step. Do you know what I mean? He probably feels better about himself that he's the captain. And if that does get an extra 1%, 2% out of him, you might as well keep it because Casemiro is going to play that way anyway. You're going to play that way anyway.
No, I agree. Like, as in, I would give Vice probably to a Casemiro, but I think
probably give it to Varane.
I don't think he would. I think even Ten Hag knows that Varane, when it comes to his injuries, like he's not the most reliable. But to be fair, like if Varane isn't there, I reckon Casemiro will either be number 2 or number 3, shall we say. But the thing that's nice about Casemiro is even without the captain's armband, he still carries himself like a captain. And the thing is, as much as I agree with you to an extent where it's like he goes out there and like he fights for the team, he puts himself first, like he's willing to do anything for the team, like similar to how the Crystal Palace game is. I look at it in like an opposite way where it's like, sweet, in the heat of the moment, you done that challenge for the team. But then the following week, you weren't there for the team. And that's where we needed you most, because I might be wrong. Yeah, like the chat can correct me. I think the game after that was Liverpool.
It was a big game. It was a big game.
A man got battered 7-0. So it was like,
it was.
That's where I look at it, and I'm like, there's this story that Mourinho always says about Balotelli, where he's like, yo, I told him we don't have any strikers, we don't have any reserve strikers. You're my only striker for the next 2-3 weeks. Please don't get booked. Like this team needs you more than anything. Control yourself. First minute of the second half, Balotelli gets sent off, or he gets a yellow card.
Yeah, he got sent off. Yeah.
For me, those types of things, I'm like, yo, like I'm certain Ten Hag told him control yourself. He couldn't do it. Bruno, I'll be real. Like you could see the captain's armband elevated his performances because last year he was very good. And I think with Bruno, bro, it's like the fact that you could see he gets along with everybody. Like he gets along with the defenders, he gets along with the midfielders, he gets along with the attackers.
I think he was only good because his position got changed. Personally, when Eriksen got injured, it was the best thing that happened to us in terms of Bruno's performances. Because when he played deeper, in that 8 position, yeah, he stopped being less direct and being less rash and started to kind of just keep the ball better. Do you know what I mean? Playing in a more natural position for him, which is the deeper role. Like, I don't believe that he's got the intangibles at the higher role. Like, when it's more congested, I don't think he has the ability to turn on the ball and do things like that that would make him really dangerous in them higher positions. But in the deeper positions, he's got the work rate and he can play a simple pass, in it. So I think that that's why his performance is increased. I wouldn't put it solely down to the armband per se, in it. But even when you look at certain games, bro, like it's Casemiro checking him, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? You see it. Like, even I think it was the cup final. I think it was the cup final, bro. Like, we're celebrating
Mm,
a trophy and Casemiro is giving him a telling off, bro. You know, like that.
mm.
And that's what it is. And he's the captain. So it's like everyone knows who the big dog is, in it. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. And Cass is the big dog. So whether he's got the armband or not, he's still gonna be checking people. He's still gonna regulate people. So he doesn't need the armband, in it. He doesn't need it. I feel like from hierarchy, he's the natural captain. But the natural captain doesn't have to wear the armband.
Yeah, but that's a positive, if anything. Like
Yeah, for
that's a
sure.
good thing.
The more
Yeah.
leaders you got in
So
the team, the better.
yeah, no, precisely. So that's why it's like I'm cool. Like I'm happy. I'll give it to Bruno. But
Mm,
like I said, like if I was to wake up tomorrow and I see like United have made a U-turn, giving it to Casemiro,
mm.
whether it's Bruno, Casemiro, Licha, Shaw, whoever gets the captain's armband, I feel like every player will have some things going for them, some things going against them. Yeah, like maybe
Sure.
it was harsh for me to say, cool, Casemiro, because of Palace and this and that, because every single player will have like some flaws and some positives. But in
Mm,
terms of the players being considered, or if Bruno was to remain captain, in terms of who we currently have, I'm very happy for Bruno to take it. I'm happy for Casemiro to be vice. I'm happy for Licha to be involved in some
for
form.
sure.
But the players that are being like considered, I'm happy with any one of them.
Nah, facts. Big up my man for the super chat. He's saying what Fabrizio saying Juventus are trying to buy Kessie. Juve, but the player wants to stay at Barca. Bruv, does he even play at Barcelona? I don't even watch Barca no more, but does he even play there? I swear he don't play there.
Not much. He played when they had injuries.
That's what I'm saying. The player wants to stay at Barca or Premier League. Would you take him over Amrabat? I don't know if I'd take him over Amrabat. Or you know what? It's like he's meant to be a 6, but he doesn't strike me. He looks kind of more like an 8 to me, bro, when I watch him play. So I'm not really sure. Whereas with Amrabat, I don't know. I like Amrabat on the ball, but also I like his tenacity, bro. Like I just like the fact that he'll slide in if he needs to slide in and he'll do the ugly stuff in it. Like I don't know. I don't know why it hasn't worked out for him at Barcelona. I don't know if it's out of favor, if it's his application. Like I don't know what it is, but I don't know. There's something about him that's just a red flag to me. Like that. Because I swear he was meant to go Tottenham, yeah, and then he just ended up at Barca, bro. And now he's talking about coming to the Premier League. So that means you went to Barca for the money, bro. Because if you went Spurs, you would have played and you would have been in England. So why did you go to Barca, bro? Like shit don't make sense to me. Do you know what I mean? Because if you wanted to play in La Liga, then you stay in La Liga, bro. Like it's like what? Man wants what? Nah, it don't make sense to me. Man said he wants to stay or go to the Prem.
I think
It-
like this comment was exactly what I was gonna say. He's a proper like double pivot player. I don't understand that. I don't think people will understand what I mean, but it's like he
mm,
needs to operate in a certain role where he knows there's a certain player next to him doing certain things, and
you're like Kante.
that's like that's where he flourished most at
Yeah,
AC. And I'll be real, the problem was he went to Barca, and I watched him at Barca. He went to Barca. Barca don't play with a double pivot. Barca play with like a single pivot and two
yeah,
interiors. And the
yeah.
thing is, for you to play as the single pivot in that Barca team, the way they like to play, bro, you need to be bringing what Busquets is bringing. And Busquets, even
Mm,
at 36, like Busquets was doing his thing at 36.
mm,
It didn't work in a single pivot. Is he good enough to replace one of their interiors? Like, bro, he doesn't sit on the same table as a Pedri. He didn't even provide what Gavi was bringing, and Gavi's
yeah,
like not everybody's favorite. So
mm,
I feel like that's where it didn't really work out for him. Like he's a player where his main strengths are physical. That Barca team rely more on technical ability
yeah.
than they do physicality.
Yeah, that's a finesse team, bro. 100%. So he ain't really got that. So nah, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't take him over Amrabat. Do you know what I mean? And also like Amrabat gives the balance of like, do we have Fred's our only left-footed midfielder? So yeah, that's another added balance, bro. So that's a no from me. And if we are going to be losing Fred, then that means we'll have no left-footed midfielders. So for me, yeah, I think the balance of having a left-footed midfielder as well. Like I'm not taking Kessie, bro. I haven't seen him recently enough, bro. I don't even know if this guy's sharp. I don't know if he's fit. I don't know what he's doing with his life, to be honest. So that's an absolute no from me, people. Like I'm not interested in him, and I don't think our manager will be interested in him either. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll just have to see, people. But I think it's only a matter of time before we announce the new goalkeeper. And ultimately, even though at the beginning I wasn't too happy with the business we're doing, I think we're gonna get the signings over the line, but it might take longer than we would want. I still think we're gonna get another midfielder. I still think we'll get a striker, and perhaps I don't know, and another goalkeeper as well, because they want the number 2 goalkeeper. So I think that all them signings will happen. I just think that they might take a little bit more time still. Are you happy enough with the window if we get that?
I'll be real. I reckon we get a midfielder. I don't think we get a striker.
You don't think we get one?
As much as all the reports at the moment are United's priority is a striker, this and that, I feel like you can see with Man United, it's either Højlund or nothing. And I think Man United are going to maintain their stance where, like, you could see, like, how many times this year have you seen it where it's like, funny enough, it happened with Onana and Mount, where it was like with Mount, we submitted a bid and we were like, yo, take it or leave it. We're not going to come back in. Eventually, Man United managed to get like what, 510 million off the price tag that Chelsea initially wanted. You could say, I think we saved like 5 on Onana. Yeah. United will look at their track record this summer and be like, all right, sweet. Every player that we've gone in for, we've managed to get them for cheaper than we were initially quoted. United are going to try and do the same thing with Atalanta and Højlund. The problem is, I don't think United will give Atalanta what they want. No. And you can clearly see there's no second option. So, bro, I'll be real. I wouldn't be surprised if we go into next season thinking, sweet, we'll just go again next year and we'll be like, yo, we can get Harry Kane on a free. But the midfielder, I feel like Amrabat for his price tag is too good to say no to. Højlund is a nice player, but the price tag is not too, like, it's not. I
think we can get him for 50 mil though. I really do. I think we can get him for 50 million euros, blood. Like they're saying they want 70 million euros. Yeah. I reckon we can do a deal, yeah, with like maximum 50 up front. I really think we can. Like, do you know what I mean? So it'd be interesting. We're not going to pay the 70. We're not going to pay that. And why would we? Or why would we? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, bro. I think that we can do it, bro. Like someone saying 50 to 60 gets it done. I believe so. I don't think it's a 70. I think it'd be closer to 55. And if it's 55 million euros, I think that's good business. Like man said, what happened to that Sesko hype? To be fair, yeah, since he moved, I ain't watched him, but I haven't heard his name too tough either. Like, do you know what kind of season he's had?
No, I think he scored goals, but like I don't think he's. To be fair, bro, he plays for a league that I don't think anybody watches, yeah. So it's very hard. But I think he's done his thing. But I think most teams are trying to see like how well can he cope now that he's doing it, now that he's gone to the German league.
But this is it. So I don't know, but bro, like there's not a massive variety in available players, in it. There's not. So it's kind of like the one thing about our manager, he seems very stubborn in a sense that if he wants a player, he wants a player and he don't want no one else, in it. Which can be a good thing or a bad thing, but it seems like he's set on Højlund. And yeah, like he was set on Onana. Like we weren't really linked with no one else. Like we were linked with Onana and we were linked with Costa, but the Costa links were not from us. They weren't from us. Like we never wanted him. So yeah, bro, it's one of them ones. We've been linked with Ramos and we've been linked with Højlund. Those are the two strikers we've only really like honestly been linked with, innit? And out of the two, I never really believed that we were going to pay the money for Ramos. So I don't know. I think that we somehow find a way to get Højlund in, bruv. I think we just somehow find a way, bruv. I feel like there'll be a negotiation.
Yeah, I reckon eventually they give in, but I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised if the next signing we make is Amrabat, and then
yeah.
Hoyland is one of those like
The last
final
ones.
week.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a
Hoyland's
late one.
one.
100% that's a late one, bro. The striker ones are always the late ones. Do you know what I mean? We keep seeing this Shelley are being linked with Newcastle. That can't be real, surely.
I don't think so because they're on the verge of getting Harvey Barnes. So
Bro, that's what I'm saying. And the thing is, yeah, like man, we're talking about Newcastle, yeah, not being able to spend no money because of no FFP. Then they just spunked like 70 M's on Tonali or something, didn't they?
mm,
Like what's
but
going on, bro?
I think with Newcastle, it's the fact that every summer they don't spend ridiculously. Like for a team that's got P's,
Yeah.
I don't think they go out like 300, then 250. Yeah, like I think even this summer, I think it's only Tonali. I might be wrong. Tonali
And they've been linked with what's that left back's name? Jesus Christ. What's his name?
Theo Hernandez.
They aren't linked with Hernandez. The other you, oh bro, their man will tell me. In the
A left back.
yeah, oh my days. What's hey, you lot will know you lot will know in the chat, bro. Not Kieran Tierney. To be fair, they were linked with Tierney, but bro, the name will come to me. And Livramento, they were linked with, sorry. They're linked to Livramento, not Tierney. Were they linked to Tierney?
Yeah, but Arsenal wanted like 35, 40.
But
So
yeah, they were linked to Livramento. That's the only other link I've seen. Yeah, that's the only other link I've seen for Newcastle. They're not linked with doing bare activity.
nah, I think what it is about Newcastle, and the thing that I like about them the most is they got P's. And I feel like everybody expected them to do a very similar thing to what Manchester City done. Like Manchester City's first marquee signing, Robinho. And like we all saw how that one turned out. And it's like they were just going for big names, commercial names. The thing I proper like about Newcastle is like even when you look at their signings, they're on point. Like they're players where they're not really overpaying for them. They're not underpaying for them. They're paying for their true value, but they're players with a lot of potential. Like the one for me was Botman. Like when they got Botman last year, I was like, yo, so many nice centre halves out there, good price, like way bigger name than a Sven Botman.
Yeah, but he
I
ticks all
knew
the
about
boxes
Botman.
that they needed.
Yeah, and bro, I was like for me last year, he was one of the centre halves of the season. He was amazing, but he just didn't get the plaudits he deserved. I feel because like he's one of those centre halves that just gets his job done and that's it. He's not fancy. He's very calm, and I feel like because he played for Newcastle. But when you just look at all their signings, like a Botman, you look at Bruno G. I'll be real, Tonali, I don't rate, but even him, like Tonali, Bruno G, Isaac.
Yeah, the
Harvey
Tonali thing's
Barnes.
more of a statement than I rate him. You know, like that. It's them showing that yo, we can go AC Milan and go and get my man.
I think. Well, to be fair, he got forced out. Like
Yeah.
they were in need of P's and they were like, yo, like we've just tied down Liao, so we can't really sell Liao. Who else can we shift? Tonali. I'll be real, personally, I feel like they overpaid for him because I'm not his biggest of fans. But even then, like I agree with you where it's like, yo, we're now sitting at the table with some of the big teams where we can casually go to AC and take their future club captain, like a player that's Milan through and through.
Yeah.
And we've just gone and snapped him off AC. But now, bro, they're building something nice. Like I feel their wingers need addressing. Like even right wing, like Almiron scoring, I think it was like 11, 12 league goals. It hasn't fooled me. Like that, bro, that guy's shit.
Yeah.
If they can get two good wingers with Isaac Wilson, Bruno G, Tonali, I think they need one more better 8. I'm not really a big fan of like Willock and Longstaff. But bro, they're doing their thing like under the covers.
No, yeah. I think, boy, I don't know. It's a tough one, you know, because I'm looking at them, yeah, and it's like they had a good season last season. Did they have the depth though? Do you know what I mean? To be playing European football now without bringing in quality in depth. Do you understand? Because they were playing one a week last week. They've gone from playing one a week to Champions League, skip Europa League, and gone straight into the Champions League. And it's like, yo, do you have the quality and depth to play potentially 60 games next season? the football that they play as well. Like, it's not the most aesthetic football, but it's very efficient football, isn't it?
Mm.
Like, do you have the depth to, without signing, I say 4 or 5 players? I don't know. I really don't
Mm.
know, because the thing is with Newcastle, like, their starting 11's calm, but then as soon as players start coming in, like, the drop off's big, bruv.
And the thing is, the more players you sign, like the more big name players, the higher the expectations go up.
Yeah.
There's a point that you touched on, which I fully agree on, which is the football that they play. I feel like it's got a lot of plaudits this year, but the football is not sustainable. Like, I
It's
completely
not.
agree with you on that one, because it's very, like, I've watched them a lot last year, where I was like, the physicality that you man have in midfield bails you out a lot. Defensively, they're very solid.
Yeah.
But in terms of scoring goals, in terms of, sorry, not even scoring goals, just in terms of creating chances on a sustainable basis, that's where Newcastle, I looked at them and I was like, yo, like, it's no surprise you man have had plenty nil-nils at home, where I'm watching them and I'm like, yo, you man look toothless. And that's why I said, yeah, bro. And that's why I was like, they need 2 good wingers. Like, Almiron ain't it for me. Harvey Barnes is very nice. I'll be real. Harvey Barnes for 25, 30 million is a very nice signing. But their midfield and defense.
But does that take them up a level though?
Okay, wait. Do you think they get top 4?
No. No,
Right, sweet.
not with the signings, bro. I think Liverpool are fucking scary, bro. If they get one more midfielder, I think Liverpool are the wild card for next season, bro. Like, genuinely. I'm more worried about them than Arsenal next year if Liverpool get another midfielder, because they've got 5 attackers that can all score double figures goals.
Yeah, no. That's if Liverpool can get a 6,
Yeah.
like, they're gonna have to replace Fabinho. And to be fair, whether he stayed or not, they had to replace him. If they can get another 6, that front 5 of McAllister, Dominic, Luis Diaz, Salah, and whether it's Darwin or Gakpo, that's goals galore. And then I haven't even mentioned Trent. So that's a nice team. But now with Newcastle, I think squad depth will let them down.
Yeah.
But I'll be real. I just got a dirty feeling like they won't really do well in the Champions League. They might drop out early.
Yeah. And
then they can focus on the league. But to be fair, bro, like, they've got good players. Like, it's just a case of keeping them fit. Like, Liverpool went, what was it, 2 seasons? They won a Prem and then they won a Champions League, and they done it with like 13 man. Like, they only had 2 go-to subs. I think it was Origi and someone else. So as long as they can keep everybody fit, the quality is there, but I just feel like they need to improve their attack a little bit more.
Nah, facts. 100% facts. You know what I'm saying? Man said they played them. Yeah, their football's an eyesore, but bro, it was very efficient last season. It was very effective last season. But I don't know, with the new Chelsea, I still think Chelsea are toothless. That's the only thing that could be their downfall. If Chelsea get like some goals in that team, if they sign like a goal scoring wide player and a centre forward, I think they could be a problem. But other than that, I think structurally they lack goals, just like us, innit? But the difference is we're more settled than them. So I don't see them as a direct threat to us for next season, based on the fact that I think they'll struggle more than us to score goals. We don't know what Tottenham's going to do. I think Harry Kane stays. If Harry Kane stays and now they've got James Maddison and a new manager, I think there'll be a resurgent Tottenham. I'm not saying they're going to be a big threat to the top 4, but definitely top 6. So when you throw in Liverpool, who will finish in the top 4 next season, in my opinion, with Spurs as well, with Chelsea, like, brother, I don't know where Newcastle finish, but I don't think top 4 for sure. No,
I think it all depends on their Champions League run, because a lot of the teams that you mentioned, they're going into the season where it's like a new project, like Chelsea and Poch. And I know everything about Poch. I know everything about Chelsea, but does that too work? So I feel like this year is going to be like a trial year. The same about Tottenham. I think Tottenham will do well. I'll be real. Like, they're one team that I'm looking at thinking the business has been nice. I still feel like they need 1-2 more bodies, but I feel like the signings that they've made complement the players that they currently have. But the thing that will aid Newcastle, and it's like very similar to Arsenal, for example, because you've seen it's aided Arsenal. Eddie Howe's been in the league. He'll be going into his 3rd season. third season working with the same crop of players, season by season. They get more experience. They get more familiar with the play style. That time, it's going to benefit them a lot. Like you can see with Arsenal, season after season, they've gotten better. I reckon Newcastle will get better, but can they juggle 3-4 competitions?
Yeah.
I don't know. Personally, I feel like they'll just prioritize one.
So what's your top 5 for next season? Because it's top 5, innit, for Champions League. Not in particular order.
I'm not even gonna lie, innit, yo. Like it's early to say. I think next year is Arsenal's year. I'll be real.
To do what?
Win the league.
Fair
Bro,
enough.
I'm telling you. It's
early.
early.
It's not happening.
It's early. Yeah, I'll be real. Like I'm willing to put my neck on the line for that one. Yeah, I think
it's not happening still.
Trust me, I hate the fact that I'm saying it. Like I hate their fan base, but the football, can't sleep on it. I'll be real. You can't sleep on that football they play and the team they're building.
Man, I just want an Arsenal fan to say that, bro, so we can have that in the archives. You know, like that's not happening for me. Do you know what I mean? Like the thing is with Arsenal, they've always played good football, but it's the mentality, Haj. Like even the fact, even when I see, like Arteta doing like the initiation with Declan Rice, like he's a school teacher and in a classroom. Oh, guys, everyone say hi to Declan. This guy is not a winner, man. Do you know what I mean? He ain't got that dog in him, bro. Like that's what it is. He's just, bro. He's very much a happy to be there merchant, bro. And I feel like a winning mentality is instilled from the very top. Do you know what I mean? He's not ruthless enough, and he's just not enough of a bastard. Like he's not. To me, he's not a number one. He's an amazing number two, innit? I think he's an amazing assistant manager. Your job of your assistant manager is to be friends with all the players, make them feel happy to be at work and all that. The job of the manager is to just be ruthless and win, in it. And I don't think he's got that ruthless and win streak. So I can't see him doing it, bro. Like I believe their bellies will go again. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't think they're finishing the top 2 next season. Like, I'm more worried about Liverpool than them. Like, if Liverpool get the 6 that they need, I think Liverpool finish second, bro.
You know what it is? I agree with you in terms of he doesn't have that mentality. Yeah, I agree with you, which is like towards the end of the season, there were a lot of like key decisions that I feel like he bowled. Like, for example, Saka was fatigued off form, and I was like, yo, bring in a Trossard. Like, trust me, it might make Saka unhappy. But
I see one game, Saka got clamped, he was limping and that. He just left him on, blood. Like, he just let man just run it off, like.
Nah, that is true.
Yeah.
Those types of things, they play a massive part throughout the season. But the only reason why I feel like maybe next year might be their year is because if City lose the players that I've read they're about to lose, which is Mahrez is on the verge of going Saudi, Bernardo is on the verge of going PSG. I'll be real. I reckon City will go out and get one big name. But I just look at that City team and I feel like, yo, you've lost a lot of key players. Don't get me wrong, they've got Haaland, they've got Pep. Like, they've got 2 of the best perks to have in the league.
Do you think so though? But like, you know what it is? We've seen City lose key players before. We've seen them lose Kun Aguero. We've seen them lose David Silva. We've seen them lose Yaya Toure, and they still recover, bro. It's like, do you see what I'm saying? It's just like, I feel like the way that Pep's done it, it's like no player is more important than the system.
That is true. That is completely true. But I think what it is the fact that losing a Gundo, bro, where this year, let's be real, like the first half of the season, they were poor. But one of the players that actually stood up and took ownership was Gundo. You lose Gundo. Mahrez, even though I'll be real, like I've always said, I hate Pep's treatment of Mahrez because Mahrez is one of my favorite players.
Yeah, different.
Mahrez still gets double digits, bro, every single season. Are you going to get a player that can hit the ground running in his first season and hit double digits similar to Mahrez? Are you going to get a player of a similar impact to a Gundo? Like, especially like Gundo in the title end of the season, sorry, the business end of the season, he steps up. I look at all of these things and I'm like, they might have a negative effect on the team. But with Arsenal, I'll be real, bro. Like, I bantered them when they bottled the league. And I said, yo, like, it's ludicrous to sit top of the league for 93% and still bottle it. But I'll be real, bro. Like, all I done was I flipped Arsenal and Man United. And I was like, if Man United were in that position and Man United managed to sustain sitting top of the league for 93%, and then we bottled it at the final hurdle, as much as it's funny, it's also a positive. Like, it's definitely something to look at and be like, yo, like, you've done all the hard work. You've done it through autumn, spring, winter. It's just summer, business end, you crumbled. If they can overcome that final hurdle, and let's be
Yeah,
real,
but
they
it's a
crumbled
it's a
because
massive hurdle, and that also negates, yeah, the lack of challenge by Liverpool, the lack of
mm,
challenge by Chelsea, and the lack of challenge by Tottenham. Like, it negates those things. These are three teams, yeah, that usually are there or thereabouts that weren't. Do you know what I mean? I feel like last season was an anomaly, bro. As well as they played, yeah, last season was a crazy season, bro. Look at Liverpool, for instance, yeah. If Klopp, yeah, moves Nunes, yeah, out wide, maybe 5 games earlier, these man probably finish third, blood. Like,
that is, you know what it is?
literally
That's
that.
true. But there's a part where I look at it and I'm like, sweet. So you brought up Darwin, who's like a fresh new signing. Nobody knew
Yeah,
what they were going to get out of him, and you
yeah.
probably got more negatives than positives.
Mm,
You look at Liverpool this season; they're going into the season with a completely new midfield. Like, this is the
mm.
first season in, I think, 5, 6 years where Liverpool have now gone into it with a completely new trio.
But so are
Usually,
Arsenal. They got two of the three is going to be different. Havertz and Rice coming in, Party and Xhaka out.
I don't think, I'll be real. Even though I have said before, like, I think Havertz might play on the left. I don't think Havertz plays on the left. And but I'll be real, bro. Like, Rice alone, I feel like Rice can carry the burden of if Havertz was to start in midfield. But with me, the thing that caught my eye the most of Arsenal last year was, I was like, yo, the football was sustainable. The football was sustainable up until March, like
Mm,
March, April. Home or away, they were getting the job done. Bro, when you've got a team where your left winger can score 10 plus, your right winger can score 10 plus, your midfielder can score 10 plus, your striker was injured for 4 months and still hit double digits. Bro, when you've got a team, like I always say, you look at Manchester City, what made Manchester City unstoppable? The fact that they had goals across the whole team. So even
mm,
if you took out Aguero out of the game, there were still goals. You
mm,
took out Arsenal's main striker, they were still scoring goals. And bro, those
mm,
types of things, I was like, they've got that intact.
mm,
Defensively, they looked very solid. Without once Saliba went, they looked poor, but defensively they looked very good. For me, Rice is like a statement signing. Like, I'm a massive fan of Rice, so I'm thinking, yo,
mm,
if Rice can replicate the performances that he showed at West Ham, and I'll be real, like at West Ham, bro, the team didn't really play to Rice's strengths. Like, he had Suchek next to him. You
mm.
put Rice with an Odegaard, another player, it's going to elevate everybody around him. And I don't know. I just like, I watched them so closely last year, and I was like, yo, this football, it has a reward at the end of it. Now, is it a prem? It might be a prem. Is it something else? It might be something else. But I think City will drop off next year, and Arsenal might clinch it. But like I said, I'm putting my neck on the line for that one.
Fairs. I think if Liverpool get another, if they get a number 6, they're the team to watch out for. Because, bro, the way they finished last season was scary. Everyone talks about how
Mm.
Arsenal started the season, yeah. Look at how they finished the season, bro. When it matters, Arsenal always capitulate, bro. They done it the season before as well, missed out on top 4. This season they missed out on the league, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? At Christmas, like they had a cushion. The way Liverpool finished, yeah, the season, it's like, bro, they just kept winning games, blood. I think wouldn't they win like 8 on the bounce or something stupid like that? It could be like something like, it could even have been more than that. Like, it was literally getting to the point where I think United, we were like 11 points clear of Liverpool, and then they threatened to finish above us, bro. Like, that's the kind of run they were on. So that was, in my opinion, 8 wins and 2 draws in the last 10 games. So to me, that was when it clicked for Klopp in his head. You know, like that, when he went, hold on, this Nunes thing, let me just move this here and do this. And then it just clicked in it. So when I'm looking at it now, yeah, if they start the way they finished, and then you add in midfielders as well, I think they're a serious problem, because what they were doing with Henderson and Fabinho and that, bro, nah, man, McAllister, Szoboszlai, and if they end up getting like a Lavia or something like that, I think it's problems, you know. I think it's problems. So they're just relentless, bruv. Like, I'm genuinely more worried about them in terms of character, also because they've been there, they've done that. They've won the Champions League and they've won the Prem already, bro. Arsenal ain't won either of them in a long, long time. I don't think they have the mentality to challenge the way Liverpool do, if that makes sense.
I agree with that. But I think when it comes to like mentality, like similar to like what you said 10 minutes ago, which is like it's a massive hurdle. I feel like every team, every manager, whenever they've like embarked on a title charge, they always fall short at the final hurdle. Like Pep, when he came, he didn't win it at his first year. I feel like every team, they'll reach a stage where they have to overcome that final hurdle. And that's what separates a good team from a team that is like, how do you say it? Like a team that can sustain it, but bottle it at the end, but a team that can maintain it throughout the season. I think this season, Arsenal might be able to overcome that final hurdle because, bro, like I said, the signings aren't like, I'll be real, that Timber signing, like it's not getting spoken about. That Timber signing,
it's a big signing. That's the signing, like in terms of out of all of them, because he can play in it, you know, like that, and he'll slot into he will slot into their system seamlessly, bro, because he is like your perfect almost. He's what they think Zinchenko is. That's what I was saying. Like they think Zinchenko's really that ball playing, whatever. Zinchenko's a scrub, man. Like Timber can actually do the ball playing, like false fullback technical thing, but then he's a bit tenacious as well. Like he's a good enough athlete as well. Like he is the signing that they thought that Zinchenko was gonna be, not the youth that was getting nutmegged and crying and shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Timber's the real deal, innit? So I think that's a massive signing for them. I don't know how Arteta's gonna do it, but it's up to him to work it out, bro. Like I just think that he's too much of a nice guy and he's gonna fall short again, innit? I don't know how far short, but I believe he falls short again. And yeah, the Havertz thing, Havertz is playing in midfield for sure. Do you know what I mean? For sure, because he's not playing up front.
I think wherever you play him, he'll be poor. Like I've said, yo, if I'm not a fan of the guy in the slightest, but I think if they manage to keep Partey, that will help a lot. Now I don't know if that's gonna happen or not, but the thing about Arsenal is, like touching on to the mentality thing is, I feel like every season they grow as a team. And like, I'll be real, like funny enough, I wanted it the same with Man United, where I was like, yo, we just get like a young crop of players. There'll be good days, there'll be bad days. But that young crop grows together season after season. So one year they might bottle, I don't know, top 4 because of squad depth. Sweet. The following season we address squad depth. Then it might be a mentality thing. The more young players play, the more experience they get, the better their mentality becomes. It's like you mature over age. And you could see they bottled top 4 2 years ago. Bro, last season they had top 4 done and wrapped up by Christmas. You could make a case. Okay, not Christmas, maybe like Jan, February. And then they fell short towards the end. The reason why I look at them and I'm like, cool. Fatigue played a massive part towards the end of the season. Injuries to key players played a massive part. Have they addressed fatigue? Yes, because they've made signings that now give them more squad depth. Sure. Mentality, I feel like these players will now know how it feels to handle the pressure of sitting top of the league. Because, bro, if you sit top of the league 93%.
But did they handle it, though?
They handled it for 93%, and then they fell short. But like I said, to sit top of the league for 93%, like, by the way, teams in the past have won the league without even sat top of the league for 93%. Like, they sat at top of the league for like 80%.
Well, City just done it. They won the league. There you go. They won the league after being top for like 2 weeks, bro.
City literally clinched it towards the end. So that's why I always say that when you look at the 93%, as much as it's funny, there are some positives to it. Now, of course, I'm just banking on them replicating everything they showed last year, but then towards the end of the season, having it in to maintain it during the business end. And I don't know. I'll be real. Like, I'm mainly looking at City and I'm thinking, yo, you're letting go of key players. Liverpool are banking on a completely new system. Now, fair enough, they won 7 games on the trot, but the sample size is still very small. Completely new midfield, completely new system. I don't know how that's going to go. It might be nice for 5 games, but then there might be a drop-off. With Arsenal, I saw a system that was fully flowing, getting W after W from August to April, or August to March, shall we say. So that's why I'm banking on that.
No, Fizz. No, listen, it makes sense, innit? It makes sense. Like, the reason why I think they won't do it is not necessarily anything to do with them, but it's to do with everything that's around them. Obviously, I don't believe they have bottle, but also I believe that there were a lot of things that went for them last season, and in terms of how poor everyone else was. Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
I believe this season's going to be a lot more competitive across the board. Across the board. Do you know what I mean? They're going to be a team now with a target on their back. People are going to look at them, respect them more. Now they know what they're on. It's going to be more difficult, bro. Like Man City are going to be going through a transition. I don't know who they're going to sign. Liverpool are more dangerous. I believe will be more dangerous. Tottenham will be more dangerous. Chelsea will be more dangerous. Newcastle will be more dangerous. It's a different season altogether. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that we could have foreseen, yeah, how bad Liverpool were going to be. You, bruv, like Liverpool competing for the Champions League, bro. Their man went for talking about quadruples, blood, to literally like just scraping into the top 5,
mm,
like, bro, like overnight. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how weird last season was. It was a strange season, isn't it? And that's what I just think that this season is gonna. I think this season is gonna be a lot more competitive. Do you know what I mean? That's all. Okay, this Arteta thing's killed me. Man said we need to see how he adapts. Time will tell where he best suits. It's like, bro, you spent 65 million on a player, and after
mm.
one game, you're not sure, yeah, where you're gonna play him. That's brazy to me. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean that's very crazy, isn't it? So like is this bruv, this season might be one of the most exciting seasons yet. It might be just based on everything that's surrounding it, with the whole madness, Saudi taking players leaving, players coming in. I think the season's gonna be crazy. And also because it's a top 5 now instead of a top 4, I don't know how
Mm.
that's gonna affect the way that people play. It's gonna open the door up for other teams that maybe never thought they were good enough for top 4, now thinking, yo, we might be able to sneak that 5th place.
Yeah, no,
You
and
know,
I
like
think
that.
like season, like especially because of the money that the Prem offers from TV deals and this and this and that. Like, bro, every season, a team that finished 14th will have the P's to compete with a team that finished mid-table. That's why like every season is different. Yeah, like the thing about the
Mm,
Prem is, as much as I like to say, in my opinion, the Prem is a farmers league because City have just dominated it in the past, like in the past
mm,
5-6 years. But I feel like everybody beneath City, you never know what you're gonna get. And I agree, which is this year, everybody looks at Newcastle, Chelsea, Tottenham, Man United, and thinks, yo, they're not gonna be as poor as they were last year. But bro, every
mm.
season there's a surprise. Like every season you go into it thinking, yo, I think this team is gonna do bits. And
But
then
why
come
can't the
January,
surprise
they're
be
poor.
Arsenal dropping off?
No, that's completely fair. That is
Mm,
completely fair. But I think when I look at all the teams and I assess which one is capable of dropping off, I see more flaws in the other teams than I see with Arsenal. Because, like I said,
mm.
some teams are going into it with a new manager. Some teams are going into it with a new system. Some teams are going into it with a completely new defense, a completely new midfield. Arsenal are just going into it with the same team,
They've got the
but while
most,
strengthening them.
yeah, they've got the most stability out of
Mm,
all the teams. Them and City. City as manager's
yeah.
been there longer than theirs, I think. But then again, Liverpool's manager's been there longer than theirs. But they're probably going to need to bring in more players than Arsenal.
Mm,
Yeah, I just don't think there's much between them in it, based on the fact that Klopp has been there for that long. Klopp's got his system. Klopp's player ID in terms of when he brings in players for Liverpool. Yeah, you know what a Liverpool player is. Like the players they brought in are Liverpool players, isn't it? I don't think they're gonna take a while to settle in. One of them is also already in the Premier League, and they just score goals, blood. That's what frightens me about them. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone talks about defense and all these other things, bro. Listen, if you score goals, you are scary, in it. And I think that they're the most scary team in the league in terms of like, bro, will they beat us 7-0? Speaks for itself,
mm,
innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, it speaks for itself. But they're the most scary team in the league in terms of like, they don't have to be playing well, and they can just put you on the back foot immediately, bro. And before you know it,
mm,
yeah, like it's mad. Like even the game we played them, we should have been 1-0 up at halftime. We lost 7-0, bro. Like that's
mm.
crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's
Nah,
absolutely crazy. Their firepower is genuinely frightening.
no, that's what it is. Like for a team that was dysfunctional from top to bottom, from defense to midfield to attack. Like, bro, they were dysfunctional as hell, but to still walk out of it, like I've always said, yo, like this was a team that I think there was a period in the season where they were like in the I think below 10th. Like they were
Mm.
chilling with Chelsea around those
Yeah, they were.
areas. They were chilling with Chelsea, and then, bro, like, just to see at the end of the season, they can win 7 games on the trot, but in the manner that they done them in, that's a team that has quality, that just had flaws in the system that needed addressing. Now, whether Klopp can fix them,
yeah,
we'll find out this season. Yeah, but no, they have goals. Goals win you games. Like, goals is the number one currency in football. As long as you've got mandem that can score goals, it doesn't matter if you've got a leaky defense, because all you have to do is make sure you outscore the opposition.
Facts.
With Liverpool, like, even, let's be real, like, even when Klopp first came in, like, he was just outscoring teams until he worked on his defense. But Liverpool, I agree, it's a nice attack, but I look at that defense, I look at that midfield, thinking, yo, if that midfield takes 3 months to gel, that's 3 months that can cost you a top 4 spot. If that attack, whether it's Darwin or Gakpo, whether it's this, if that attack takes 2 months to gel, that might cost you some games. Arsenal, I saw a team gel from minute 1 till, let's say, April. So that's the only reason why I bank on them.
But you don't think if Havertz and Rice come into that midfield, they're going to need to gel?
I think with Havertz, personally, I'll be real. Like, in my opinion, I don't think Havertz starts. Yeah. I just don't think he's good enough to break into that team. But I think even if he does, the only way you can compensate for Havertz's lack of ability off the ball is you need somebody that can play in a pivot as good as Rice. Like, for me, I always say Rice for me is like a one-man defense. Like, he can do it. And I'll be real, like, Rice was pulling strings for West Ham, a team that was on the verge of relegation last year, and he was still their standout performer. Imagine if now you put him in a team where there's a better system and better players around him. Like, I think Rice will be a player that earns a lot of respect this year.
I think we have to see. I think he's got a lot to prove. I think he's got a lot to prove for me personally, because when I watch him, I see his qualities, but then I don't see it at the same time, innit? And like, I've seen loads of teams in the Premier League where players have played in weak teams, innit? And they've looked really good. And I thought it would translate. Bro, we signed Morgan Schneiderlin, bro. Remember Schneiderlin and Wanyama, blood? Them two there, bro. Like, statistically, Schneiderlin was the best holding midfielder in the league. Like, undisputed. We signed him and it just never worked, bruv. You know, like that. It just didn't work. And the Wanyama, obviously, he done better at Tottenham, but he was the better athlete of the two. So with the Rice thing, it's like, I don't know how it's gonna work. Not because he's not a good footballer, but is he good enough to mask the flaws in that midfield if he is playing next to Kai Havertz? You know, like that. And because the thing is, he won't have the freedom that he had at West Ham, yeah, if he's playing with Kai. Because Kai cannot defend, bro. Like, Kai is not Souček, bruv. Like, he's not Souček. Like, if he goes, because Rice is someone, he likes to intercept and he likes to drive. If he drives and leaves gaps, Havertz ain't sliding across and Odegaard is not sliding across. You know, like that. So it's one of them ones where if he does start to drive and he does the hero thing that he does at West Ham, he's got no cover, bro. You know, like that. So as much as people think that Rice is a 6, yeah, he tries to play more like an 8, innit? He's a double pivot player for me if he's going to play like that. Like, single pivot Rice in a 6, not for me.
But do you know what it is? Do you know what's going to benefit him is the fact that at West Ham, when he decided to drive with the ball, because I think he's great when it comes to like carrying the ball forward.
That's his best attribute, in my opinion.
He's quality at it. I think what aided him at West Ham was the fact that the team sat deep and Souček sat when he went. I think with Arsenal, it's going to be the complete opposite, where it's like Arsenal in possession, when their fullbacks invert, they provide that cover for players to progress the ball forward. So whether it's Timber or Zinchenko, there will be cover for him. And I think what helps is when your defensive unit is strong, it's cool. Like, Saliba is a very good centre half. Gabriel showed last year he's a very good centre half. It's very different when you're looking at Ogbonna or you're looking at who are their other centre halves, like West Ham, like Ogbonna, Aguerd, those types of players. Arsenal have better quality in better areas, which I feel, if anything, I'll be real, I think putting him around better players will elevate him more than anything. So I think in terms of progressing the ball forwards, bro, I don't think it will be that big of a problem as long as the team knows which positions to occupy once a certain player steps forward.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think there's a lot of questions that we don't know the answers to yet, innit? And I
Mm.
guess that's the beauty of it. It's all speculation. We don't know how Liverpool are going to strengthen. We don't know if Chelsea are going to do any more business. We do. If Chelsea brings in a goal scorer, then again we're back to the drawing board. Or if they bring in a goal scoring wide player, because for me, Madueke, he's not there yet. He's not going to score goals, like not like that. Sterling ain't going to score goals like that. Sterling in that system is not a goal threat. Like the Jackson you isn't a goal threat from what I've seen. Decent at a few little things, but he's not really a guaranteed goal threat. They don't have any guaranteed goals in that team right now. And also you got Nkuku who it could be Bundesliga tax. I don't think it is, but people that agenda will be out there. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So, like, there's no guaranteed goals in that team. Like, there's none. At least we got Rashford. Like, at least with Rashford, I know that Rashford's getting me 20 goals all comps at least.
I think with Chelsea, it's like every year they don't address the area they need to address the most, which is I think they've got goals in that team. Like, for example, Sterling, bro. Sterling is like, I think the third most player to have scored under Pep Guardiola. Like Sterling can score goals. Don't get me wrong, they're not the most fancy of goals, but they're goals that require a certain system in place. But I feel like they've got goals. I feel like they just don't have creativity. Like when everybody cries that Reece James is injured because he's like the main creative outlet of this team, and I just read yesterday that apparently he might have to get surgery again on his knee. He might miss the start of the season. I just feel that there's no creativity in that team. So you can get a Jackson, but what are you expecting Jackson to do a Messi and just dribble past the whole team? Like Jackson needs service. Sterling needs service. That's where I feel like their biggest flaw is. But they're banking on like Mudryk and Kunku and those players to provide that creativity. But at the moment, when I look at Chelsea, I just see Enzo and James that are capable of creating a chance. But can they create enough throughout a season? I don't think so.
That's what I mean. So like there's so many unknowns in it. There's so many unknowns. How Tottenham are gonna take to the new manager. The way the new manager plays, I like. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like I watched some of his coaching, thing. There's some coaching things of him in training and YouTube.
I've seen
For like Celtic and stuff like that. And the way he wants to play and the way he wants to move the ball. Do you know what I mean? And the speed he wants to move the ball at, bro. He don't like his players taking more than 2 touches, 3 maximum, bro. He just likes it moving. The ball's always moving. And with the team that they have, I think that they're gonna some teams gonna hold a beating, bruv. It might not be one of the bigger teams, but I feel like there'll be a game where against one of the smaller teams they put like 5-6 past them because that's bruv, they're relentless, innit? He likes runners and he likes people that move the ball quickly, innit? And there's going to be an instance where someone holds an absolute beatdown, especially when you've got Maddison and Kane, bruv. If you keep Kane, like, yeah, there's going to be goals in that team. So, yeah, bro, bruv, next season is going to be exciting, bruv. That's one thing, innit? Like, there's too many things at stake. And because there's an extra Champions League space as well, I think that adds to it. You got teams like Aston Villa, where they sound Pau Torres and stuff like that, bro. They're going to be looking to do something. Emery's going to make them difficult to beat next season. We'll see if Brighton manage to keep Caicedo. It kind of looks like he's not leaving now because they want crazy money for him. It looks like Chelsea don't want to pay the money. We'll see if they go back in with a bid. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what Brighton do. See how Brentford fare without Tony for 6 months. Do you know what I mean? They might fall off completely. There's bare unknowns for next season.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how the Prem goes. Like, it's just every season one team will do bits, but the thing is like every season there's one team that I think the majority think will bang, and then they flop because Brighton, European football, we've never seen that before. Like, can they handle it? And they definitely don't have the squad depth.
No.
Villa, the signings are nice. I'll be real. Like they're looking at Diaby as well from Leverkusen, like nice players, but even then, can they handle Europe on a Thursday and then Premier League on a Sunday and then go again next week? So no, next season, I agree with you. Like, as in it has the potential to be a very exciting season. But I've said that so many times before, and it's been a dud of a season. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Man City just bolting away, blood. So I don't know. Nah, we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see, but I'm looking forward to it. You lot, get them lights up, man. Get them lights up. We need at least 700 in here. You man are slacking. Link to Hadji's channel is in the title. Make sure you sub, bro. You got anything coming up this week that you want to plug?
I took like 1-2 weeks off, but now I'll be back. I'll be back this week. I'll have like there's no scheduled date for it, but I'll be back this week with like 1-2 shows.
Come on, people. So yo, make sure you follow up. You already know what it is. Hit that like button, bro. We still got nearly 1.2 in here all the way through. And yeah, bruv, listen, I hope Chelsea, if Chelsea give us some money for Harry Maguire, yeah, then that's payback for Mason Mount. I can't lie. So let's pray on that. You get me? So big up everyone inside. Smash the like button before you head out. It's free, man. Support the channel, man. Obviously, the likes help the channel go further and the content go further. So smash the like, people, and I'll be back tomorrow.